Hi, everyone. How are you? Excellent. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. My name is Jarett Wieselman. I'm very excited to be here for what will likely turn into an inspirational TED Talk with Gina Rodriguez, as every panel she's ever on does. Guys, let's not wait anymore. Please give a warmest round of applause, Gina Rodriguez.
Thank you guys for being here. Hey, is this on? Or I always hear myself yelling in my head. So thank you for the thunderous applause. So I'm just gonna make sure that I don't show you guys my goodie parts. All right, my goodie bits.
Hi, Gina.
Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. This is the fucking Met Gala of LA. This is the fanciest party of the evening.
How are you?
Great.
Amazing. It's been a minute since you've been here for the show. So first of all, congratulations on what is coming up to be the end of season 3. It's all very exciting. Has it flown by? Does it feel like you've been doing the show for 3 years now at this point? I mean, where is sort of your head at in regards to that?
Honestly, I can't. All I do is feels like I've been doing the show for 15 years. It feels like I've been doing this show my entire life. But it's so funny because you are a striving actor for so long. I hate the idea of struggling because honestly, I didn't ever really struggle. Yeah, I didn't have any money, but I wasn't you know what I'm saying? This is a lot shorter than I planned. I didn't have, you work so hard to get to this place, right? You just you don't do what you love all the time. You're a hostess or a massage therapist or a twin nanny. Those were all the things I were. And then you get to do something you absolutely love, and it's your entire existence. It's I didn't work for 10 years, and now it's I don't ever not work, which is the biggest blessing in the world, but such a crazy, you forget that for change, for both positive and negative change, you're supposed to grieve, right? Someone just recently told me that, and they're like, did you ever grieve about getting Jane? And I'm like, bitch, you crazy. Who's gonna grieve about and the truth is that I should have because my life changed drastically in a beautiful way, in that 15-year-old I'm gonna be this, and oh my god, I could see it, mom, and then you're doing it and you're like, look, mom, I'm doing it, and she's still I have no idea what you're doing, but this is what you project for so long, and it's so incredible, and you're doing it, and it's fantastic, but it is the entirety of my life, and I love Jane for that, but it is work. And in the best way possible. I had an argument with somebody the other day where they're like, you do what you love, you don't work a day of your life. And I'm like, bitch, you lazy. That's not true. I don't believe that. I believe that if you do what you love, you're very lucky to do what you love, but you still work. Because I do, right? I love all the, it's that's right, preach, girl, work. But I do. I do 15 hours of Jane a day, 5 days a week. From going to not working ever to doing that, and that intensity, and then events every weekend, and which is a beautiful thing. Trust me. Again, it's a 15-year-old this is what I've been fighting for so long. But it does. It really takes over your existence, and so it feels like I've been on the show forever. But it does. Oh, it does. But I don't want it to end. So it's that, it's you love your kids, but you don't want them to turn 18 because then they're gone, right? But you do want them to fucking turn 18 to get the hell out of the house. But it's that weird, weird, that I'm learning. I'm a terrible parent.
Well, I want to ask, well, I mean, with that said, this is the longest you've ever played a character consecutively. I mean, we're going on 3 years. There will blessedly be a 4th year next year. And we have a question from Vanessa and Rachel in the audience.
Oh.
Who said, please.
Yes, she said we won! Yes!
What do you do as an actor?
I just really went the wrong route with this. I'm sorry.
This angle.
Have this.
Do it like this.
All night, yeah? You're okay with that, right?
You gotta make it work.
Get the thigh.
You make it work.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, Vanessa. And Rachel?
Yes, Vanessa and Rachel,
yes,
who are clearly right here. What do you do to keep it fresh as an actor, episode after episode, 3 years in for you as a performer?
I think that I'm very, very lucky because I think that my conversations would be different if I was playing a character that was stagnant. But I play a character that just lives and breathes. Every episode is a roller coaster and magical realism and fantasy gowns and Cinderella and all these crazy things that I get to constantly be working my muscles. So it doesn't really feel. The 15 hours can feel real stagnant, but I really like Jane, and the writing is so fantastic that I never feel bored of it. The 15 hours are boring, but in between action and cut, it just is never a dull moment because Jane is so fresh and fantastic, and that's all Jenny. She keeps it that way, and I could not imagine if I was playing a character that didn't have the opportunity like this episode where we flash forward 3 years. Now she can be a fuller human being, as an adult. And it's really cool to play because I'm 32 years old. When I started playing Jane, she was 22 and I was 29, And so I'm like, girl, get it together, Like, come on now. But she was so vibrant and everything was so new, and love was this just, to me, actually, I still have that same, like, love is, right, baby? Love. Hey, shout out Joe in the crowd. But in that respect, it was playing this youthful character that I used to be, this girl I used to be, and now I get to play a woman that is cynical, that has lost, that doesn't feel like fairy tales exist anymore, that understands that she has a perfection problem and understands that she can be judgmental, and that she was so blinded to who she was, and now she's learning so much about herself, and this 4-year-old is teaching her all the kinks of the stuff that she doesn't feel great about herself. And that's very cool because that allows me to grow literally with the show, and I literally got to grow. And I really could not thank Jenny enough for that, because that did revive this spirit inside of me that felt like I could continue to add to Jane. Like, she wasn't full yet, and that was exciting. And then I get to do drama and comedy within the same minute. You know what I'm saying? It'll be yay, do this ridiculous, shticky physical comedy, and then ball. And I'm like, okay. In the same line, sure.
Well, let's talk about that. The episode they just watched was the 3-year time jump. When Jenny told you that was what was going to happen, what was important to you as an actor about filling in those 3 years in between? Or did you feel like, as you're saying, because you were now closer in age, you sort of got where she was in some ways more than you did before?
No, because she went through a loss I've never experienced. So I got really lucky because we shot season 3. We shot episode 1 through 10, August through November, and then we had a month break, which we didn't have the first 2 years. So this month break, me and my boyfriend went to Thailand to train, and it gave me a chance to grieve losing Brett as an actor. So he was done in November. And when we came back in January, we shot this. And the opening sequence of me with the cut short hair was the day, 4 days after we got back from Thailand, something like that. And it was nice because in Thailand, I went through my own grieving process. I hated it at first. And I remember turning to Joe and be like, this is not paradise. This is bullshit. I want to be in paradise. I worked so hard. I finally can afford a fucking plane ticket. Can we I wanted something. I wanted something else from this experience. And a few days in, and he's like, it's okay. It's okay that it sucks. It's okay that you're not a failure if you don't like it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting, right? Because I do often feel like if things don't, and I think collectively a lot of us feel like if things don't go our way, we failed, but we don't have control over everything. And it's something that Jane has taught me, is that that release of control. But I planned that month to go away and be with myself and learn about myself in quiet, in silence, which I seldom have anymore. And I got to train and get strength, because I believe as a mom, carrying like a 40-pound-year-old crazy nut job of a child running after this little boy had to physically change me a little bit, and it did. I was stronger. Mind you, that little boy is a nutcase. He's the best thing in the entire world. He's literally a prodigy. He's brilliant. But we definitely cast the right Mateo. Like, he will just climb up me and like stand on my head, and I'm just like, you are gonna kill me or I'm gonna kill you one of these days. But it was important for me to go, and I didn't know what I was in search for. I just knew that I had to get away from all of this mayhem as an actor to be at one with myself, so I can come with a different kind of energy. So I got really lucky for that month and a half, and it was transformative. It was.
And I would imagine you needed it. I mean, the first half of season 3, Jane goes through so much. I mean, there's Michael's post-shooting where you had, honestly, the scene where you're talking to him on the hospital bed right before he goes into surgery. I rewatched it today and I got emotional just with no context whatsoever. It's very telling of me.
But all right. Here, let's switch it up. How are you doing, Boo? Huh? Let's talk about what we got.
Gina, this is what I really...
yeah.
But you had that. Jane finally had sex.
Yeah, hey.
You know?
Yeah.
A little Halloween treat for her.
I didn't think about it as
That's
that.
Right. And then, and she also lost the love of her life up until that point. So how, I mean, that had to have been, yes, you get to play a lot of comedy, but that had to have been also, I mean, that was some of the darkest stuff that I feel like you had to go through as an actor on Jane so far. I mean, what did you need as a performer in those moments, in the depths of that fear and that sorrow for, losing or potentially losing the love of your life?
It was both the most difficult first half of the season. I mean, the whole season's been really tough. It was both the most difficult, that first season, and the easiest, because I was really losing Brett. And Brett was my road dog on this show. Like, if you see us on screen, like, the chemistry I felt with him when they yelled action was through the roof. I can fly with this kid. I can do anything, and he was gonna throw something back at me. We were living in the moment. If an eye twitched, he commented on it. In the lines, I'm saying, like, we were easily confined to these lines and felt like the way you feel when you just know someone. And I knew before we got into season 3 that we were gonna lose him midway through. And so all of our love story up into that was like the most beautiful, bittersweet experience of my life. I have a lot of great acting partners on the show. Yvonne Cole is a dream. Jaime Camil, through the roof. Mom, oh God, I love Mom. Rafael, who doesn't want to look at that? I mean, there's just there's so much. And Yael's fantastic. Just, there's so much great, but me and Brett were like fireworks, and I feel like it showed. I would love to believe it showed how in sync we were as acting partners. So we really did not take advantage of a second. Justina Machado, who's on One Day at a Time, who I love so much, so dearly, and I've known her for about 6-7 years now, and she told me at the beginning of Jane, she goes, "Don't miss a beat. Do not miss a day, be present and love it, because when it's done, it's done." And I think about that every day when I feel the 15 hours, when I feel the draining on my body, when I don't get to see my boyfriend, but 20 minutes at night, then I want to go to sleep because I got to do it all over again, or see my parents on the weekend for a smooch. No, seriously, I'll be like, "Mom, I love you. Great to see you. You look good. I'll see you in 17 days. It's serious. It's a blessing. I don't want it to go away. I don't, but, so you know what I'm saying? But, in those moments that it's difficult, I remember how lucky I am to have these people and this great writing and this opportunity and everything I've been fighting for so long. So we made sure that every moment counted. I made sure every moment would count. And then when I did his death scene about a day before we wrapped, Joe was with me. I did it 1 a.m. It was 2 takes, and I asked Brett to say something to me in my phone, and he went outside and did this long minute message to Jane from Michael. blank. It was just like, not action, like action again, and then it was done. They were like, we got it. And I was like, you better have. I just gave you my fucking, I just threw my heart up. But so it was like the easiest, but then it's the most painful. I didn't want the minutes to go away. But we took advantage of it. We didn't let it go by. We didn't take advantage of it in the sense of we didn't let a moment pass us. We were very present. I was very present, and I'm continuing to stay very present.
I mean, if you want to talk about taking advantage, I feel like you have done a phenomenal job of taking advantage of this platform that the show has given you. And in all of the questions that we got tonight, that was like a recurring theme. It was just like thank yous and thank yous and thank yous. And through one of those ways you're doing it is through your own production company. And I wanted to read some. Yep. Yes, that's right. And I wanted to read something.
This is that was 15-year-old girl dream as well. But
really?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
You said this in an interview, and I thought it was pretty pertinent. A strong leader is one who creates other leaders. So if I'm encouraging young girls to take control of their lives, to spread kindness, then I am doing the job God put me here to do. With every attempt we make within the industry, with every project I take, it will be to advance women, not only women of color, but all women and men. One doesn't exist without the other, so I'm just going to continue to keep my head down and keep trying to do the best work I possibly can. Never really saying I've arrived or that I've made it anywhere, but just that I'm going to continue to try. So, yeah. So
I don't remember saying that shit, y'all. I'm kidding. I did.
So with that said, when you set out to have this production company, what were the things that you wanted to ensure it did for other actors and to create opportunities for other people?
Okay, so when the opportunities that Jane gave me. Okay. Okay. I believe that we should do what breaks our heart. Right? I really believe that. That's how I was able to find my purpose. When I was 15 years old and I would look at that screen and I wouldn't see anybody that looked like me, didn't have my skin color, didn't have similar body type. When I saw the lack of representation of not only myself, but the girl that lived next door, or the girl that lived across the street, I saw what it did to the way we felt about ourselves and how limiting it was. I saw that I was putting on invisible shackles because of what pop culture told me I was supposed to accept about myself. I saw that was a problem. I was being guided by this illusion that if I changed who I was, or if my skin color was different, if I was prettier or taller or skinnier, then I would be able to get what I wanted in life. And that wasn't true at all, not for a second. I am constantly trying to mend that 15-year-old, 16-year-old girl's heart, my trauma. And my trauma was that it took me a long time to get to a place where I actually looked in the mirror and I said, hey, girl, you're all right. You're good too. It took me too fucking long. And so I don't want that to be anybody else's case. So if I can prevent that, then I'm gonna fucking prevent that. And how I'm gonna do it is by using the platform that I've been given, using the doors that I've been given to open them up and create other dream-like paths for other people. I don't want to be, thank you. I talk about the lack of representation of Latinos, because I am Latina, and so obviously that is a community that is close to my heart. I don't want to be the only Latina working. I don't find it scary to have many of us. I am in competition with no one but myself. And therefore, if I create other people's dreams, I as well will make my dreams come true. If you help other people succeed, you too will succeed. So I can and I will make sure that other people's 15-year-old dreams come true. You feel me? So that's what we want to do. And no, that's what we're doing. We just sold a show to Hulu. We've sold 4 more to CBS. We will be putting those on the air, and there will be lots more faces of females in front of and behind the camera of all different likes, of all different religions and colors and body shapes. And we will show that the projection of what one believes to be perfect, there can be a variety of that. And so you just create your own, right? Yeah. I'm sweaty and this skirt is short.
Okay, yes. I get like lost. I'm like, I have questions I'm supposed to be asking. I'm just like, so
we love each other.
We're good. It's good.
We're good.
We're good. Well, with that said, you also have a book that you're writing.
Currently trying viciously.
Attempting. Ugh. I mean, in all your free time.
Oh, but it's good. It's a good thing.
Obviously I would imagine it is things you say here, things you've said on other panels we've done before. I mean, what was it about that opportunity that really excited you?
Well, because then I can start taking I'm just a scatterbrain. I can all the things that I love and they're just constantly floating above me and I just go and I grab them. So I kind of want to consolidate all of them and give them away. But ideally, after the Golden Globes, I didn't even realize that words can affect in that manner, and I thought okay, so then I should use my words and collect them, and hopefully they will affect in a way that somebody could just hang on to them, and you get on the pooper and you read a little bit at a time, whatever. Don't act like you don't read on the pooper, so at first it was just or it still is to give tools to navigate through life positively. And with self-love and self-worth. And it's geared definitely towards, teenagers, in the sense that it'll be an easier read. I grew up with a father that was always reading motivational books and self-help books, but when you give a 15-year-old 7 habits of highly effective people, they're like, hey, yeah, bitch, please. They're like, I got Google, I got Twitter. So I'm trying to give it so that it's easy to digest. So that's ideal. And, something to walk around with. But I've been doing a lot of talks at colleges, and it's been helping formulate what I want to, really bring it down to. And
well, I'm curious, because we've talked about the opportunity that you've created for yourself in the 3 years since the show has been on. When opportunities come to you for projects, what are you looking for now in a woman you play? Period. End of my question.
Yeah. Okay. I was like,
yeah, I know. I didn't end it the way one ends a question, but here we are.
I'm looking for an opportunity to play characters that I necessarily haven't seen yet, played by either a woman of color or a woman. Period. Right. The project that I'm getting into this summer is very exciting. It's very terrifying, but it is the opportunity to create a very strong female. How do I ruin? A very strong female CIA agent. I want to play pretend, right? I want to play pretend in a way that we just haven't seen done before. So that's what I look for. Also, doing iconic roles like Carmen Sandiego, it's amazing. And it's crazy, the Rita being the original voice of that is just the craziest thing. Right. Rita Moreno, I feel like I just want to be her. Clearly I'm trying so hard.
Listen,
what are you going to do next,
Rita?
There
could be worse people.
Yeah, she's fierce, she's everything.
Well, when the show first started, you talked a lot about the scripts that were given to you before. You said it was a lot of maids, and these were not people you wanted to necessarily play.
We've just already seen them.
Exactly.
We've already seen them.
So what I'm curious is, and this was Monique's question, which I'm going to hybrid, Monique, and I hope you're okay with that.
What do you got, Monique? We don't know. She may not be okay with that.
I know. Well, if you let me know you're good.
Okay.
Thank you. Has that stopped? Has that for you?
Yeah. I have an amazing team. Let me say, I have an amazing manager, David, right over there. Shout you out. I love you, brother. When I met David, right, on his desk, he did the whole sit down, do you want some coffee or water? And I was like, yeah, sure, both. And then just get the fuck out of your office so I could be here for a second. No, but he left my office to go get me coffee or water or both. I don't even remember what I asked for. And I started looking on his desk because I'm a bonchinche. I'm Latina, I'm gonna look through shit. And so I was like, what we got here? What is he? Let's see what this man's about real quick. Kept looking out the window and being like, nope, I don't see him coming. And he had this Post-it, right, that said, I am loyal, I am kind, I am empathetic, I am love, I am service. And I was like, I am your manager. All right, you could be my manager. So he's incredible. He's and he's got a daughter, and he's very much like about women in power. So all the people that I bring into my team have to at least understand my fight or my plight, if you will. Yeah, it's not a fight. And so I think like at this point, David knows my heart so well. David and Carlos, my agent, they know my heart so well that they know to be like, oh, like, thank you so much, but because I don't feel like they come. Maybe they come to you, but I don't think they come. I think that I've been pretty loud. I think I've been pretty loud about how like, yeah, I just want to do something different, and it's just because it's my journey. I do not judge anybody else. You do what you want to do. It's your journey. I stay in my lane. You know what I'm saying? And in my lane, that's just not what I want it to look like. And 15-year-old Gina would think that she could only be what somebody else wanted her to look like. And now I know that like I create that. And I'll wait for it, I'll wait for it. Wait for it. It's worth it. Wait for it.
We're just going to keep going through some audience questions now. This one is from Christina Maria, and she wanted to know how your life has changed since the show began. And that'll be our last question because it'll take 3 hours.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, I could do this. I could do this realistically.
Also, take your time because I don't think anyone's going anywhere.
I don't spend... Oh, you guys rock. Hi, Christina Maria. I don't spend money on shit. I still got poor girl syndrome. I really do. I grew up with like not a lot of money, and we always lived under our means. We never lived above our means, ever, ever, ever. So I live like way under my means. That's definitely one thing that hasn't changed. I still don't have a car. Probably need to get one of those soon. How has my life changed? It's scarier. I would say, to be honest, when it came to love, it was scarier because, like, I'm not a supermodel, so I knew that some of these guys that were coming up to me weren't coming up to me because I look like Emrata or something. You know what I'm saying? So that hurts your heart because you're just like, damn, how did I all of a sudden become more interesting to you? I finally get to do what I don't know. How has my life changed? I get to work. I get to do what I love every day of my life. That's what's changed. That's probably the only thing that's changed, to be honest. Yeah. I'm gonna. That's a very truthful answer. Not much has changed. Still live in the same place. I still have the same friends. I feel like this should be a way better answer.
No, that's okay. Well, let me ask you this, because you're.
No, it hasn't. Yeah. I just get to do what I love now. Yeah.
Well, speaking about that, I mean, you've spent now 3 years with Jane. What has that been like as an actor to get to grow? Because so often when people do films, or it's so closed-ended, and this is so open, and you've gotten to do so much in just 3 years. I mean, what has the experience been like as an actor to spend so much time with this woman?
Oh, it's remarkable. It's something that I've always desired to do because you really do get to it's different than a play, obviously, because you're not doing the same shit every night for, a year and a half. It's not closed-ended, but everything has their, benefits, right? Everything's fantastic. Everything's lovely, especially if you like it, right? That's when it's lovely. I love the fact that I can walk on that set and I know exactly how she's going to respond to each and everything, and it is vastly different than the way I respond, but it is like second nature. It's like if I had a twin, and it's the coolest feeling in the world because I do know that Jane is going to come to an end, and I'm okay with that. Because I'm taking advantage of everything that's given, and I'm going to be present, and I'm going to love it for as many days as I'm given it. But it is a beautiful experience to be, especially if you like your character. You just get to. I know I'm very lucky, and I'm very grateful for that. Because the writing is so good. It's like, I can't imagine being on a show for so many years where you don't like the writing. Oh my God, that would be devastating. So I am very lucky, and she just keeps evolving, and Jane just keeps going through things, and I'm so excited because during these 4 months that I have hiatus where I get to go and pretend for like a different little character in a moment in time, I get to go back to her and go right on that set, and every single year I'm like, I don't even know if I know how to play Jane, and they're like, action, and I'm like, pfft. I know you, girl. I know who you are. So it's cool. It's very cool as an actor.
Well, on the flip side of that, when on a hiatus you did Deepwater or you did Annihilation, what was exciting to you about having to prepare in a different way when you didn't actually know that, that woman inside and out?
Oh, to go from Jane to Annihilation was the craziest experience. I think I'm still shedding that character. It was such a heavy. I cannot wait I literally can't breathe when I talk about her. So I wrapped Jane season 2 April 30th. I got on a plane the 31st. There is 31 days in April, correct? No,
30.
May 1st. I knew it. I think I did this before, and somebody was like, "There's not 31 days," and I was like, "I'm gonna excuse myself now." So the 30th, I got there the 1st in London, and I cut my hair on the 2nd of May. I walked in, the woman was like, "Oh, so I see, it's gonna be great, it really is." And I was like, "Oh!" And 13 inches gone. And I was like, "Oh, Lord of mercy, what just happened to me?" And I went through this crazy experience because not only was I preparing for this character where it was like stunt rehearsals and ammo rehearsals, like with guns, with M16s, and now I'm playing this like hardcore butch lesbian shaved head killer machine. Yeah, and I like lifted weights, and I was diesel. I was ready to jack, like I was, and yeah, and there was a part in that character that I didn't sleep for weeks. I couldn't sleep on my bed. I couldn't sleep on the sofa. At times I was sleeping on the floor, like an hour. Like I cannot wait for this movie to come out. It's so crazy. But when I came back, I was like, I definitely have no idea how to play Jane. I don't know how to play Gina. I don't know who I am. I don't know what's happening. I met my boyfriend about 2 days after I came back. I had blonde hair, shaved head, and I was like, I think I have some mental illness I need to work on. No, dead serious. I started having panic attacks. It was not good. It was very scary. And he was like, "Oh, want to go on a date?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm doing something right." No, I'm kidding. Yeah, what's wrong with you for dating me at that point? That's what I just want to know, how fucked up you are. But that was so exhilarating to shed Jane and this character that is so linear and so precise and so like everything has to be like exactly where, to this crazy out like of her crawling out of her skin sci-fi, crazy animals attacking us, and like it was so much fun. It was such a breath that I needed to bring so much more life into Jane the next season, because I also need to go to therapy, but that's besides the point. That character, I literally it took so long to shed that character. It was crazy.
How do you get out of losing yourself in a character?
I don't know.
Like is it just time?
I think it's just time. Yeah. I don't know. I dyed my hair blonde because when I kept looking in the mirror, I kept seeing myself like covered in like some of the scenes we did, I just would look in the mirror and I would just see that, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is not right. This is not what you're supposed to see." And I dyed my hair blonde because I was like, that's gonna change everything, and then I just ruined my hair, and blonde is not for me. But and I tried all these things that I thought was going to shed, and I worked out a lot, and I like shed the like diesel and like. But I don't know. If anybody has suggestions of how you shed a character, I feel like that's something that's to each his own experience, right? Because I could not jump out of this person. It was crazy.
But at the same time, isn't that kind of awesome?
It's the coolest thing.
Yeah, I would imagine like if that's what I'm trying, if I'm constantly trying to inhabit other skins, having done it so thoroughly that I can't get rid of it, must kind of feel, it's like a weird double-edged sword.
Like I felt like I accomplished it.
Yeah.
I did feel like when I looked at, like they showed us a trailer by the end, just a little bit of the scenes cut, and I was like, and so I was like, okay, that's good, right? Like you want to look at yourself and be like, girl, that ain't you, that is you. Oh, girl, you got problems. So I really loved seeing how much I felt like that can't be me, right? so I did feel a sense of accomplishment. I really did. And regardless of what happens to the movie, regardless of people like it, it's like you do the art, right? For that moment in time, not for like what happens later. You do it for like right now. Because that's all we have as artists. We only have like those moments that we're actually doing it. And those moments I was doing it, damn, we were doing it. But I gotta learn how to get rid of them because
all in time.
I'll learn. Yeah.
Do you find that, I mean, because you had done... Yep, got it. Everyone
doing
ever...
that. We just
good.
gotta be real
We're all in
about
it
stuff.
together.
Okay, good.
Did you find that in the off seasons doing Deepwater and then doing Annihilation, you were sort of flexing different acting muscles? Obviously literal muscles, yes. But like the act of performing for a movie screen versus the act of performing for television?
I don't find the act of doing it very different in television and film, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're from TV. Do you know what film's like?" It's like, it's a camera, yeah. And I hope it's not different because I was always supposed to just act. But that's asked all the time, and I always feel like, is there a dichotomy? I just don't think it's like that different. But it is. I find it after doing a show for so long and sticking with the character so long to do somebody in a concise amount of time, you almost have more liberty because you're like, I'm gonna just throw it all in, I'm gonna put it all in there, and I'm gonna do it. But each project makes the flexing of the muscles different, you know? So I had an opportunity to do a comedy this summer. I do comedy like 8 months out of the year. So for me, I really wanted to like push another part of myself that I knew was going to be a challenge, that was going to be terrifying, that was going to scare me. So I don't know, did I? Yeah. No, yeah, sure.
Well, but the reason I ask is because, you know, I'm curious in the conversation of, we were talking before, when you do a play, when you do a movie, you know the ending. You know, you're in an experience right now that you don't know the ending. I mean, what has been really rewarding as a performer about sort of going on a journey and not knowing the destination in terms of like what the performance looks like?
It feels like life, especially with Jenny, who doesn't let us read the scripts until the day before we shoot, right? I mean, seriously, it's crazy. You're like, oh, that's happening tomorrow? I'm dead serious. It's like, it'll be a Tuesday. I got every single scene. We do a table read at lunch. And then it's like, oh, and tomorrow you're just gonna have to bawl over your husband's death. Tomorrow. You're like, oh my God. All right, I'll do it tomorrow. But it feels like life because you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow and you don't know what's gonna happen the next day. And you're not playing that later conclusion or resolution, which as actors we all know, like, don't play the end, like stay present, don't play the end. And you know, in my films I'm constantly reminding myself that too, is to like be present in like the moment, the actor's moment. It's very difficult when you know the journey, but you do that because you're a trained, disciplined actor. On Jane, it's like you are living, you are there, and it is like every moment is alive and you don't know what you're gonna shoot tomorrow, and you're gonna just do it. So it feels alive. It feels scary.
I mean, I'm like shocked at the lack of time you're sometimes getting. I mean, what have you found to be helpful from just a memorization process when you're getting stuff the day before? Because I mean, you're in almost every scene of this television show a lot of the time.
Well, when I did Bold and the Beautiful right before I did this movie Philly Brown that went to Sundance, and I did like, it was like a 5-episode arc that turned into like 16 episodes, and it was like, here's 40 pages, memorize it right now, and you have to shoot in like 40 minutes. And we're doing 2 angles, and you have 1 take. And you're like, well, that's gonna suck. Enjoy cutting that. But you do it. And then you learn by the 2nd episode you want to do it better because it did suck. And then you learn by the 3rd episode that you're like, oh, this is my 1 take. I'm going to nail the shit out of this 1 take. And then, you know, by like episode 16, you are nailing it and you are on it. And that was like a masterclass for me. It really was. It was like you have to bring all you got because you got 1 chance. Or 2 if they're feeling frisky. And so that was the best training ever because I'm really good at memorizing anyway. I have photographic memory, which is crazy to see like a script on somebody's face at times when I'm dead serious. It may freak you out, but that's literally what happens to me. Like, so I am really good at memorizing anyway. But now it's so tight. It's so tight. And I trust myself more now. Now it's like, okay, Jane, you're going to walk into this space. These are the lines. Where are you going to hit? Like, what kind of business do you want to do? What's the choices? Where'd you come from? Where are you going? Like, and give them all of you on that first take. And then they can pull your ass back on the second. And then they can tell you where to go on the third. And then by the fourth, butter. You know what I'm saying? Butter.
We're coming close to the end of our time together, but I'm going to turn to a couple of audience questions before we do. The first one is from Jean. Hey, Jean. And Jean was wondering, what influenced you to become an actor?
Oh, that's a good question, because I don't know. I started as a salsa dancer. I love being on stage. I love making people laugh. Like, it's like, well, there you go, papá. Yeah. Que viva. Yeah. Siempre pa'lante. I feel like I have to do all the right? Despacito, right? Don't act like you haven't heard that fucking song. You've heard that song. Puerto Ricans brought you that song. But I forgot the question. Oh wait, what excites me? So I started as a salsa dancer. I love to make people laugh. Probably more so laugh than cry, obviously. But I loved to make my parents laugh, and it brought me a lot of joy. So when I do that, like every time you guys giggle, it makes my heart smile. It does. You do that, I want to cry. Chill the fuck out, all right? Calm down. I can't handle it, Jarett.
We'll move along. Michelle's wondering, what other career had you ever thought about pursuing if not for acting?
Teaching. Yeah. Clearly, again, another position in which you're in front of everybody else. They're shutting the fuck up. You get to talk the whole damn time. So it was just another one acting job for another. It was like, my audience was either going to be people that chose to be there or people that were forced to be there. And I was like, I'll take either. It'll be amazing. But when I was in grammar school, I used to do storytellers. So like all the way from like first grade to eighth grade, I would go and read books for the kindergartners. And it was very, very cool. I was a really big fan of it. Yeah.
All right. Lastly,
okay.
From Carmen.
Hi, Carmen. Yes, girl, hey.
What do you know about acting now that you wish you knew when you started?
How much I was willing to give of myself. Because it's to like a detriment of how much I'm willing to give of myself. Because I think that when I was younger, I wanted to do this. I wanted to feel this feeling all the time. And it is like a drug addict where I was going to say moderation. Yeah. Hey, drug addict, moderate your drug intake. But it is where like I seem to just like come on guys. It's late, look at me, 8:00, it's late. So the joy that I get from doing what I love can be detrimental to my health. And I didn't know that as a young girl, because then the way I painted my dreams was with such a hunger that I feel like I still can't fill. And I would have forgiven myself a little more. I would have given myself a little more space, I think, because I have to work on self-care. I feel like as actors, as much as I talk to these, college students about loving yourself, about self-worth and self-care, I'm saying it to remind myself. And I feel like if I had started working on that earlier, this whole experience wouldn't be at the detriment of my health. So it's something at least I'm aware of, right? And I'm working on. But I think that that's something that's huge, because our temple is our instrument, and my temple's falling apart, girl. I'm way too young for this shit. I'm like, oh, baby, just drag me to the other end. And he's like, all right. But I would have told myself that, like, it's okay, Gina. Not everything and not all at once, and it's okay. Because I have to remind myself that. It's like, I want all the beautiful dreams to come true, but they don't have to all happen right away. And they do happen over time, and they do only happen if I'm healthy. So... yeah, you got it.
Well, Gina, with that, We say thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
SAG-AFTRA.
Thank you guys so much for being here with me. You guys are amazing. You started even standing ovation.